Hey everyone, it's Rainash30, and today I've gone through the evolution of the Joker to recap all of Mark Hamill's portrayal of the character in Bruce Timm's DC animated universe. So, without any delay, let's begin. Number 1. Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. We start in year 0 before he became the Joker by cutting to the film's flashbacks, which transpire around 1983. As it's evident that this unnamed individual has a criminal career, he uses the alias Jack Napier, which was only mentioned by word of mouth and seen in a file in Batman the Animated Series.
Jack Napier, Harvey Dent, Pamela Isley, or as you call them, the Joker, Two-Face, and Poison Ivy.
He serves as a hitman, enforcer, and chauffeur for the Valestra mob, where he always sports a fedora, black and white suit, and black gloves, but also has that unique pointy nose that we all know and love. After being seen driving around mob boss Sal Valestra, and later spying on a young Bruce Wayne and Andrea Beaumont, the heads of the mob confront Andrea's father Carl for embezzling them. Though Carl and Andrea escape and could pay everything back, as the mob wanted interest, he was sent after them when they learned their location. As Andrea returns home, he emerges from the shadows with a smile, only for her to discover that he murdered her father in cold blood, but this part of the story will be essential when we return to the film a decade later. Number 2. The New Batman Adventures. Then talking about events that occurred during the decade after, still in year 0 of the Joker, we cut to when Jack Ryder does a special broadcast at Ace Chemicals. Titled Joker, The Madness Behind the Laughter, it briefly covers what happened to him during the 7 years before his transformation. Jack reveals that he operated under various aliases while working for the Valestra mob, but ultimately left to start his own gang and hit the Ace Chemical plant. While of course there wasn't any footage to show this heist, Jack presented a reenactment of it where they broke into Ace Chemicals where Batman confronted them. Unfortunately, they made it appear as if Batman punched him so hard that it led to him falling off a railing into a vat of chemicals, which inevitably transformed his hair, bleached his body, drove him insane, and changed his life forever. Now, when year 1 of the Joker begins, we know he sports a unique clown outfit and eventually starts his antics to become Gotham's clown prince and most notorious criminal. While his beginning schemes were foiled numerous times by Batman, within the same year, it was at Arkham where he met Dr. Harleen Quinzel. Intrigued by her fascination with high-class criminals, he took advantage of it by telling her made-up stories to manipulate her emotions. He eventually made her believe the source of his pain was Batman, but most importantly, he made her fall in love with him so much that she was willing to throw away everything for him. She broke him out of Arkham to become his new partner, so Joker, the psychopathic and intelligent criminal, laughed as he created Harley Quinn.
Soon became clear to me that the Joker, so often described as a raving homicidal madman, was actually a tortured soul crying out for love and acceptance. A lost, injured child trying to make the world laugh at his antics.
Number 3. Batman, the Animated Series. Now onto the beloved animated series, which continues in year 1 of the Joker. He has numerous adventures within the same year, and unique schemes to take over but leave his mark on Gotham. He sports the animated series look, including yellow eyes and teeth, red lipstick, white gloves, and a purple suit with a blue bow and a pink flower. We also get to see his custom clown weapons firsthand, including his metal playing cards, a joy buzzer, and a gas flower. Now we can go over his most intense schemes in his first year. He begins with escaping Arkham on Christmas Eve, only to take over a broadcast revealing he kidnapped Commissioner Gordon, Summer Gleason, and Harvey Bullock. Later on April Fool's Day, he exposes Gotham to his laughing gas, driving the entire city insane, which allows him and his gang to rob the city clean. It doesn't stop there, as next, he releases his unique brand of fish and breaks out of Arkham again to destroy a new casino mocking his image. As if that wasn't enough, he also torments a regular guy for 2 years who fears getting called to do any favor for the Joker in exchange for his family's safety. Though his schemes are foiled frequently, as he's been arrested multiple times, he eventually escapes again and looks forward to facing his rival Batman in an endless game of good versus evil.
He and criminals like the Joker are cut from the same cloth.
What? Compare me to Batman? I got more style, more brains. I'm certainly a better dresser. Well, we'll just see how safe your mansion is, you babbling bonehead.
Number 4. Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. Now he appears 1 year later in year 2 of the Joker, where we return to the film's present timeline. As the flashbacks are connected with the Joker's character arc, because, remember I said killing Andrea's father was critical? Well, Andrea becomes the Phantasm to avenge him, and heads to Gotham to kill the heads of the Valestra mob. After reading about their deaths, Sal Valestra turns to his old chauffeur and hitman, the Joker, to end Batman, believing he's responsible. Though the Joker agrees, as we know he's not the same sane man as before, he kills Sal with his venom, and later learns Batman isn't responsible, but a new player in Gotham. Beginning to search for the person behind the Mask of the Phantasm, he visits Arthur Reeves, the man who sold out Andrea and her father to the mob, where the Joker learns Andrea is in Gotham and infects Arthur while maniacally laughing. After deducing that Andrea is the Phantasm, she fights him, to which Joker retaliates with his acid flower and fists until Batman arrives. Battling Batman, Joker gets his teeth knocked out and activates a bomb. Though when things don't go according to plan, his bomb goes off and he laughs in Andrea's arms as he loves a tragic ending, even if he dies with it. While it's not shown at the end, escaping from Andrea is implied as he will continue his crimes.
What do you want?
To find out who's iced the old gang.
Haven't you read the papers? It's Batman!
Wrong. It ain't the Bat. Nope. I've seen the guy. He looks more like the ghost of Christmas future.
Number 5. Batman, the Animated Series. We return to the show's remaining episodes, which run from year 2 to year 6 of the Joker. After escaping Andrea's grasp, it's no surprise that he would be up to his old antics again, with weapons like a bang-fly gun, and where we see the worst case of his laughing gas. His return begins with Batman's apparent death at the hands of Sid the Squid, where Joker later stages a robbery to prove to himself that Batman isn't gone. Though Batman doesn't turn up, much to his disappointment, Joker returns to where it all started and holds a memorial at Ace Chemicals to mourn his rival. Giving a speech before sending a coffin into a vat of acid, he quickly moves on.
Well, that was fun. Who's for Chinese?
And while this wasn't a scheme, we see the impact of his relationship with Batman that caused him to shed a tear. However, after being outraged by Harley's success without him, and being the judge of Batman's trial, his most notable schemes are showcased in 2 episodes. The first is when the Joker steals a bomb and holds the mayor hostage, but with no plans for a ransom, he intends to blow up Gotham to eliminate all his enemies. The second deals with getting revenge on comedians by brainwashing them for rejecting him in the Gotham annual laugh-off comedy competition, while he considers himself the most incredible comic in Gotham.
Where is he? He's never been this late before. There's a certain rhythm to these things. I cause trouble, he shows up. We have some laughs and the game starts all over again. Without Batman, crime has no punchline.
Number 6. Superman the Animated Series, the Batman-Superman movie, World's Finest. Now he appears in a 3-episode crossover with the series, titled World's Finest, about 2 years later in year 8 of the Joker, in which an animated film also compiles the episodes. It begins with the Joker, in his new adventures look, robbing an antique store where he steals a green dragon statue instead of stealing expensive things. Then, traveling to Metropolis, he meets Lex Luthor with the proposition to kill Superman for $1 billion as Batman has shut down all the Joker's operations in Gotham. Still, while Lex is skeptical, Joker reveals his statue is made of solid kryptonite, to which Lex then agrees. After kidnapping Lois Lane to bait Superman, Superman arrives in his lead suit to protect him from the kryptonite, until Joker uses his acid to melt the lead to expose him to it. As he overpowers and electrocutes him, Batman arrives and foils his plan, to which Joker escapes, leaving Lex to confront him for failing. While Lex gives him another chance, after catching Batman's attention and luring him into a trap, which fails, knowing Lex would double-cross them, Joker attacks and takes him hostage. After customizing Lex's airship to resemble a smile, Joker attacks Metropolis with missiles until Batman intervenes, and Joker's grenades explode, causing the airship to crash while Joker maniacally laughs. Of course, we know he'll never die unless we see his body with our eyes.
Oh, what's the matter, Soupy? No steam left in the old locomotive? I hope you're taking notes.
Number 7. The New Batman Adventures. After his apparent demise, we return back to the series in years 8 to 9 of the Joker, where he has an updated appearance that includes white eyes, white teeth, light purple gloves, and a purple suit with a purple bow and green flower. But, of course, he's back to executing his psychotic schemes, beginning with one on New Year's Eve, where he reveals that he will kill everyone before the new year begins. As Batman and Robin intervene, though Joker initially gets the upper hand, Batman stops his bomb, and the countdown bell lands on him at midnight. Then, in year 9, as he's broke and unable to restock his weapons, his luck unexpectedly changes when an old enemy leaves him $250 million. While Joker spends a lot, after realizing that he was conned with fake money, not wanting to look like a fool, and needing money to pay the IRS, he resorts back to committing crimes. Then returning to the broadcast episode, after Joker throws Jack into a vat of chemicals, transforming him into the Creeper, he confronts him for stealing his image, but ends up on the run, as Creeper's crazy is too much that he begs Batman to arrest him. Now on to the last episode, when he learns Harley caught Batman. In anger for ruining his joke, Joker knocks her out a window. He then confronts Batman in a fierce battle, but though their fight ends with Joker's apparent demise, again, he sends Harley a flower, knowing she would forgive him.
That's okay, Pooh. I know you're a one-man loon. There's only room for one clown prince in this town. How would you like an all-expense-paid trip to Metropolis on Air Nitro?
Number 8. Static Shock. Now within the same year, still in year 9 of the Joker, when Batman arrests all of his thugs in Gotham, Joker travels to Dakota to expand his network, where he forms a gang of metahumans. While he kidnaps one to recruit him into his crew, as he respectfully declines because the Joker creeps him out, Joker sprays him with laughing gas, so he leaves them with a smile. Then after stealing fire trucks to pose as firefighters, Joker and his gang execute a bank heist and abandon the laughing metahuman for Static with the tag "Missing You" to indicate that Joker's bored and wants an opponent that can measure up. Later at Joker's hideout, he learns that Batman and Robin have tracked him to Dakota and decides to strike first. After luring them into a tunnel, Joker and his gang ambush them, knock them out with his gas, and take them hostage. As he then demonstrates his custom truck that launches spike balls to showcase its damage, when he hurls two at Batman and Robin, Static intervenes to rescue them. In retaliation, after Joker tries to hit Static with the spike balls, he calls upon his gang to protect him while he tries to ram Batman. Although this fails, with one last trick up his sleeve, he tries to shock Batman. But when the tides turn when Static shakes his hand instead, he gets shocked and returns to Arkham.
It appears you've lost the home field advantage, Batsy boy. Whereas I had the foresight to hire the local all-star team.
What's with the camera, Joker?
I'm preserving fond memories of your demise, Batso.
Number 9. Justice League. Now a year later, Joker returns in years 10 to 11, where despite the return of his yellow teeth, he has a new look that includes red eyes, dark lipstick, and a turquoise flower. After encountering the Injustice Gang, he offers to help them defeat the Justice League. However, while Lex refuses over the outcome of their previous partnership,
How's it feel, Lexi boy? Everything with your name on it's going to be rubble.
Joker proves his worth by revealing the tracer Batman placed on him. Though he knocks him out with a bag of rocks and, as usual, begins maniacally laughing, Joker is forbade to be left alone with Batman, since Lex wants to use him, while Joker wants to kill him. As the Justice League later locates and battles the gang, with his toys, Joker defeats Wonder Woman and the Flash. Although, when the gang is defeated, Joker decides to deal with Batman while he still has a chance, only to find him gone until he appears to disarm him and knock him out. He then appears another year later, except this time, this Joker is a variant of the one we know. In another universe, where the Justice Lords have taken over the planet, the Justice League head to Arkham Asylum to get Hawkgirl, where they are greeted by a polite Joker. As we see, he's been lobotomized by Superman to ensure his obedience. Instead of being an inmate, he's the staff member who guides them, though after requesting the password, as Superman says it instead of Wonder Woman, he triggers the alarm and runs. Now our Joker returns a month later, where he visits a secret base with laughing gas to liberate superhuman kids. After branding them as playing cards and calling them the Royal Flush Gang, he takes over networks for his broadcast that showcases the Justice League disarming 25 of his bombs in Las Vegas. As he tries to hook viewers worldwide with his show and bomb timer, he sends the Royal Flush Gang to stall the League. Although they defuse them all, with almost 70 million people watching, Joker reveals that this was all a stunt to get as many people as possible to watch the show. Using the powers of the last gang member Ace, she drives the viewers crazy with her thought waves. While Joker reveals he's immune as he's already crazy, when Batman arrives, Ace uses her powers on him so that Joker can get the upper hand, until he reveals that Joker has the same headband that the government used to control Ace. So, Ace uses her powers on Joker, driving him crazier and making him lose his grip on reality.
What is it that I'm not understanding?
That we're two of a kind. That you'll always come back to me.
Yeah, I guess I do, don't I?
And there's one other thing you're not getting.
What?
That you led Batman right to my doorstep!
Number 10. Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. After recovering from what Ace did to him, he returns 4 years later, in year 15 of the Joker. Tired of his battles with Batman, as they've been doing this dance for so long, since Batman always had Robins, Joker decides to borrow one by luring Tim Drake and kidnapping him. Torturing him for 3 weeks in Arkham, Joker learns that Bruce is Batman and later splices his DNA with Tim's to turn him into Joker Jr. So, to reveal JJ, Joker invites Batman to Arkham, where he shows him dressed up like himself, but wanting to get further under Batman's skin, Joker reveals a documentary of what he did to Tim Drake. Enraged with Joker, Batman engages him in battle, though knowing that Batman won't kill him, Joker gets the upper hand and stabs him. As Joker tosses his gun to Tim so he will deliver the punchline by shooting Batman, instead, he laughs uncontrollably and at the last second shoots the Joker, where Joker says,
That's not funny.
before dying. In a censored version of his death, Tim instead throws away the gun and attacks him. After being pushed into a glass tube and getting tangled in wires, when Joker tries to attack JJ, he slips and activates a switch that electrocutes him to death. It was only later revealed that the Joker was then buried deep beneath Arkham.
It's true, Batsy. I know everything. You're just a little boy in a play suit crying for Mommy and Daddy.
It'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic. No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
We then cut to several decades later, in 2042 and year 50, the Joker's final year, where we learn that he had one more trick up his sleeve, implanting a microchip in Tim encoded with his DNA. So, he resurfaces in a dark purple suit with no gloves and a trimmed hairstyle, and sends a gang of Jokers on heists to steal technology. After killing a gang member for his objection, he continues with his plan and decides to make a grand return to Gotham when Bruce retakes control of his company. With the new Batman on his trail, he distracts Terry while he breaks into the Batcave to reacquaint himself with Bruce and expose him to his toxin. When Terry later arrives, he finds that the Joker has vandalized the cave, destroyed the Robin suit, and left Bruce catatonic with a smile. After utilizing Tim's knowledge as a communications expert, Joker uses the stolen equipment to take over defense satellites and equips one to shoot down Batman. Though Batman escapes, when he appears, Timm traps him, demonstrates how he transforms into the Joker, and reveals that Timm's unaware that he's being used. Before Joker can use the satellite to blast Wayne Manor, Batman stops him and they engage in a fight. After being insulted as a terrible clown, furious, Joker gets the upper hand. However, Terry electrocutes the microchip, which turns Timm to normal and ends the Joker nightmare.
That flabby oaf doesn't even realize I'm using him as a timeshare. Beneath this puckish exterior lies the mind of a genius. In the weeks young Robin was under my tutelage, I used him as the subject of my greatest experiment.
Now, with the end of his evolution in the DC animated universe, comment down below which version of the Joker was your favorite. But make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram for updates. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next evolution.